Why do we miss the people who hurt us? It's one of those questions you try not to ask out loud because it sounds like weakness, like madness even. Someone who made you cry, someone who ignored your needs, someone who left you in pieces. And yet, there it is, that ache, quiet but constant, not always overwhelming, but present, lingering in certain songs, old photos, unexpected memories, a ghost that doesn't need a grave to haunt you. You tell yourself it wasn't real. You remind yourself of how many times they failed to show up, of how many conversations felt once had, of how small they made you feel when all you ever wanted was to be seen. And yet, something inside you still pulls toward them. Not in logic, not in words, but in silence, in memory, in that strange mixture of pain and tenderness that doesn't know where else to go. You're not alone in this. You're not broken. You're just human. Missing someone who hurt you isn't about wanting them back. It's about everything you poured into that connection that never had the chance to return to you. It's about the version of them you believed in, the potential you held on to, the way you made excuses not because you were naive, but because you were hopeful. Maybe this time, maybe if I'm more patient, maybe if I love them harder, and that maybe becomes a powerful drug, a form of emotional gambling. Sometimes they gave you crumbs of affection just enough to keep your hope alive, just enough to confuse your heart. You clung to the highs to survive the lows, and in that cycle, even the pain began to feel familiar. Let's talk about why that happens. The human brain is wired for attachment. From infancy, we are shaped by the way we're held, heard, and responded to. If love was conditional, if attention was inconsistent, we develop internal models that equate uncertainty with intimacy. We start to believe that emotional unavailability is normal, that love is supposed to feel like longing, like waiting, like earning. This sets the stage for trauma bonds, attachments formed not through safety and consistency, but through cycles of hope and hurt. Someone treats you poorly, but occasionally softens. They disappear, but then return with an apology. They withhold affection, but give just enough to keep you guessing. And your nervous system, conditioned by early wounds, interprets this as connection. You're not addicted to the person. You're addicted to the pattern, to the spikes of relief after emotional starvation, to the almost to the temporary moments of closeness that trick you into thinking it was love. But it goes deeper than that. Sometimes we miss people not because of who they were, but because of who we were with them. You missed a part of you that believed in something, that hoped for softness, that showed up with an open heart. When someone hurts you, you don't just lose them, you lose the version of yourself that existed in their presence. And if that version of you was tender, loving, trusting, then it makes sense that you'd miss them. Not because they were good to you, but because you were good to them. And that goodness still wants to live somewhere. There's also grief. Grief that doesn't come from death, but from erasure, from loving someone who never truly saw you, from trying to speak your truth in a space that never had the capacity to hold it, from realizing you were building a future with someone who was never really present. You grieve the words left unsaid, the gentleness you never received, the safety that never arrived. You grieve the parts of yourself that became quieter, smaller, more careful just to stay close to someone who couldn't meet you where you were. And sometimes heartbreak isn't one big explosion. It's a slow erosion of self, tiny compromises, apologies for your feelings, second guessing your worth. So when that person leaves or when you finally choose to walk away, what's left isn't just absence. It's confusion, it's fragmentation. It's a mirror with cracks you didn't notice forming until the reflection looked unfamiliar. So what do we do with this ache? We acknowledge it, without judgment, without shame. We remind ourselves that missing someone isn't the same as needing them, that you can miss what was while still choosing what's right for you now. And most of all, we hold space for the part of us that still feels tender, the part that wasn't protected, the part that gave too much, that stayed too long, that confused effort with love. Because that part of you doesn't need to be silenced. It needs to be heard, held, healed, and healing. It's not glamorous. It's not clean. It's not forgetting. It's remembering differently. It's untangling your identity from their approval. It's learning that you are not unlovable just because they couldn't love you right. It's realizing that your worth was never meant to be measured by someone else's capacity. Healing is choosing peace over chaos, stillness over longing, truth over illusion. It's letting yourself feel without falling back in. It's sitting in the ache and breathing through it, knowing it won't last forever. It's building a life where love feels safe, not suspenseful. One day, the memory of them will visit hand. It won't sting. You'll remember their name, and it won't catch in your throat. You'll hear that song, and it won't pull you under, because slowly, piece by piece, you will have returned to yourself. And in that return, you'll find something extraordinary. Not just survival, but softness. Not just distance from pain, but closeness to who you really are. The version of you that no longer has to shrink for anyone. The version that doesn't confuse longing with love. The version that chooses peace, even when it's quiet, especially when it's quiet. Have you ever missed someone who hurt you? If you have, you're not weak, you're human. And maybe sharing that truth, saying it out loud, isn't something to be ashamed of. Maybe it's the beginning of letting it go.